So step 4 is invest 15% of your income for retirement. Last time you were on the show, you talked about 10 to 15% kind of being the range for that. For me, I don't really have a problem with this one. And I can honestly say that it's been somewhat of a struggle for us to get to that 15% number. I've had multiple job changes. We've just had a lot of chaos in our life in the last few years. And it can become easy to deprioritize retirement savings when stress level is high or you've got an unexpected tax bill that you have to pay. Guess who's going through that right now?
Those are the best.
Yeah, why, bro? Like, why? You mentioned 10 to 15% for retirement. Would that include or exclude employer matches in that 10 to 15%? And would you include or exclude something like an HSA savings as part of that?
That's an excellent question. First things first, this doesn't feel like a baby step to me. This feels like a big step.
Yeah.
For people who aren't saving any money toward their retirement account, like this is a big step, right? So if I was going to say, do I believe that this is a good baby step? I'm going to say, sorry, Dave Ramsey, this to me is not a good baby step. This is a goal. This is like a target, right? If I was going to talk about a baby step, I would say contribute enough to maximize your employer match if you're participating in a 401k plan. So if you are participating in a 401k plan and your employer, I'm just making this up, matches 100% up to 3% of pay and you're contributing nothing, I think a great baby step is to get to 3% so you can get the full match from your employer. That to me feels like a baby step. And then you can increase your contribution every year by 1 or 2% until you get to that target of 10 to 15%. That 10 to 15% should not include any employer contribution because you're never going to hate yourself for getting there faster. And sometimes, depending on the type of employer contribution, they can take them away sometimes if times are bad. So it's good not to count on your employer making that contribution all the time. But my vote would be that the baby step is try not to leave free money on the table. If you've got a match, if you're not contributing anything at all, get in there 1%, 2%, 3%. It's never too late to start saving and do your very best to maximize any employer contribution that you could be getting in a match. And then your eventual target should be that 10 to 15% if you can swing it.
Okay. Yeah. Follow-up question on that. There's some debate about 401k types, and your traditional 401k is the money is taken out pre-tax, put into the account, and then when you withdraw it, you're taxed on the money when you take it out of the account. But then you have your Roth 401k, which is the money is taxed first. It comes out of your post-tax income, goes into the account. But when you withdraw it, you don't pay taxes. Assuming you've hit the 59 and a half age where you can withdraw without tax penalty, you don't have to pay taxes on any of the distributions. Would you recommend people to do traditional 401k or Roth 401k?
So remember last time when we talked about how we don't talk about crypto? I don't talk about taxes because I'm not a CPA. And this is, Scott's bailiwick. But I will say this. In theory, right, without me giving specific tax advice because I'm not a tax professional.
Gotcha.
There are reasons why you would pick one or the other, and it's not a universal decision. I mentioned the concept before about interest rate arbitrage. This is all about tax arbitrage. So let's say that you're just starting out in your career and you're earning, I'm making this up, $50,000 and you're in the 15% tax bracket. I don't even know if that's right because I don't do taxes, but let's just say for a second that that's right. You're paying in the 15% tax bracket and you expect that over the course of your career, you're going to continue to earn more and more and more money. And you're going to be in a higher tax bracket when you retire because you're going to be so successful. Or you just think taxes are going up, period, which some people think, right? That taxes are just going up. If you think that you're in a lower tax bracket now than you will be in retirement, general rule of thumb is pay the tax now so that you get the deduction when you're in a higher tax bracket.
Yep.
If you're in a high tax bracket now, in many cases, you're better off getting the deduction now, putting that money in pre-tax and pulling it out and paying tax on it down the line when you're in a lower tax bracket. So it's really about tax arbitrage, about where you think taxes are going to be relative to where they are now for you. But there's also another interesting concept called tax diversification, meaning that you don't want to have just one pot of tax treatment. So if you have a 401k, maybe do a little bit of both, right? There's no reason why you can't. Right. As long as your total doesn't exceed the annual maximum for deferral in 2023, there are also going to be some changes to 401k rules with the Secure Act 2.0. I know I'm going to start geeking out over legislation because I enjoy some retirement legislation, but there's going to be some changes to 401k plans here shortly about, what tax treatment certain contributions can have, like certain catch-up contributions. Employers are going to be able to start offering a Roth match, which is going to be new here shortly. So you're going to have opportunity to collect different pots of money with different tax treatment. All that to say, there's not one size fits all solution to this. I know some people who believe in Roth, like deeply believe in Roth. And good on you. You love Roth. That's why it's available to you. But it's not as easy as saying that there's one best solution. The only thing I will say is the one best solution, and we didn't talk about this, you mentioned it earlier, are HSA accounts. I love me some HSA accounts. I think they are some of the best financial tools out there that most people either are afraid of because they don't know how to use them or don't have the financial ability to really maximize and unlock the potential of the HSA account. It's one of the only accounts available to you where the money is triple tax preferred, meaning it goes in before tax, grows tax deferred, and comes out tax free. Where else can you get that deal?
Right.
So I do know a lot of people who use an HSA account as another retirement vehicle because you can save money in your HSA account, have it grow. It is your money. It's not like a flexible spending account. Some people have medical FSAs or flexible spending accounts. And that's usually use it or lose it or has some use it or lose it component to it. HSAs are a bank account. It's your money. You own it once the money goes in. And you can let it ride and use it in retirement for Medicare, for long-term care insurance premiums. You can do all kinds of things with HSA accounts. And maybe someday I'll come back and geek out with you over benefits options, Ben, because I'm also a benefits broker and consultant and spend a lot of my day doing that as well. But I do love a good HSA.
Yeah, I definitely want to have you back on and talk through that because that is really beneficial and useful information. The other thought that I had when you were answering the question around traditional or Roth, I think a point that someone could consider is if they're currently on a Roth 401k, but they're struggling. I'm giving this advice to myself because I think this is something I'm going to do. If I know that I'm struggling getting to that 10 to 15% window, I could potentially switch to a traditional 401k so that that will free up more money for me to get that percentage up to where I want it to be. That's an option available, and that probably makes sense for me to do. It might make sense for some other people to do as well.
Look at you figuring that out. The other thing is one thing I always caution folks in 401k education sessions, people like discover the Roth and they go, oh, I'm saving 10% of my traditional. I'm going to move it all over into Roth. And then they panic because they don't realize that that's a huge swing in taxes. And so I try to encourage people, if you're going to start dipping your toe into the Roth side of the pool, I would recommend doing it slowly a little bit over time so that you get used to the temperature in the water and you don't like lose your mind over how much tax you're paying.
Yeah, those taxes are so sneaky.
Oh, they're sneaky.
Sneaky.